Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, October 26th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's going to open in about 9 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Just got a couple of things here to update and we should be good to go. Other things here. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. All right, looks like we are good to go, guys. All right, so as people go ahead and make their way in, I'm going to start marking up liquidity over here on our clean chart, and we'll go from there. So here's our clean chart right here. I'm going to go ahead and start marking liquidity on the daily. Leave that alone for now. Going over here to the 8-hour. So there was a lot of mixed news this morning, guys. I'll go back to that once we're done market liquidity here. But there was a ton of news today, and it's pretty mixed. So we'll see how that kind of pushes the market today. Hopefully, it creates some kind of volatility on open because you guys have seen the market this week. It's been pretty rangy. That there. Some more liquidity up here. So if you guys are wondering how I mark up liquidity here, I'm just turning on my high-low indicator and then I'm marking up high lows that have not been tested. And I'm doing that because these levels are typically where price returns to, when price pushes in those directions. So it's a reason why I'm marking up liquidity in these areas here. Oops. This to red. That little right there. Going down to the, I think that's it here. Going down to the 15. So it looks like a lot of the low level liquidity got knocked out already. So we have some high level liquidities that are, I wouldn't say are super close, but they are closer than usual. All right, so we got liquidity marked up right here, guys. First level liquidity is going to be up here. It's going to be a low level liquidity at 33,180. That was one that was just marked up right there on the 10-minute. So that's going to be the first level of liquidity right there. The next level of liquidity, which is going to be a decent level, is going to be down here at 32,959. So we got liquidity down there. And other than that, there's No, there's another level down here, but it's pretty far down. So we'll come back and take a look at that later. And there's another level up here as well. So there's some levels that are kind of close to the nearby levels, but they're not super close. We'll come back and check on that once the market has opened. Looking over here on our clean chart, I'm going to mark up 6:30 and 8 o'clock. Going over here to our main chart, let's take a look at news for today. So we had news over here at 5:30. It's pretty much mixed. We had trade balance, retail inventories, wholesale inventories, durable goods, etc. Pretty much mixed news. We had news over here from basically all at 5:30. We have Fed Waller, who's currently speaking right now. So we had news at 5:30, and then we had more news at 7 and 7:30. So 5:30, 7, 7:30. I'm going to go and mark up news right here. As you guys can see, it's that crazy candle right there. No surprise. It's typically a weird looking candle. Then we have more news at 7 and then more news at 7:30, and that's pretty much it. So we got news here at 7, which is going to be pending home sales month over month and year over year. Then we have gas stock change. And then we have more news at 8 o'clock. So probably cut out of this live session before 8 because we have news coming up at 8 o'clock. So, all right, guys, good morning, everybody. Looks like majority of you guys are here so far. Today is Thursday, October 26th. It is 6:27 right now. Market's going to open in about 3 minutes. Let's see who's here so far. Morning, Daniel. Morning, Patricia. Morning, Maria. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Johnny. Morning, everybody. All right, guys, looks like we are good to go. So currently right here, we have a pending buy signal. We'll see if this here ends up closing. But at the moment, we currently have a sell signal, which is active. So if you get 2 red candles after 6:30, that's going to be the breakout V2. But again, we have a pending buy signal. So we'll see what happens, in the next couple minutes or so. Hey, Shannon. Morning. Morning, Dan. Morning, Andreas. Morning, Randy. Morning, everybody. All right, guys. So market is opening in a few. We got about a minute and a half till market open. Let's take a look at the overall bias for today. Fundamentals are currently neutral right now. Refresh this. Looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 61% long. This indicates that 61% of retail traders are currently buying right now, went down to 60. So we typically want to do the opposite and buy. So retail sentiment is currently bearish. Fundamentals are neutral. Short term is neutral right now, and long term is neutral. So we don't really have much of a bias right now, guys. I'll go ahead and put that up over here. So today's overall bias, retail sentiment is bearish, 60% short or 60% long. Fundamental bias is currently neutral. Short-term technicals is neutral. Long-term technicals is neutral. So we don't really have much of a bias today, guys. Market is now open. Here goes the opening candle right here. And let's see where this ends up going to. So we got opening candle right there. Color that blue. Open price right there. A lot of back and forth movement right here. It's price tries to figure out where it wants to go. So we currently have a sell signal right here. If we get 2 red candles, we'll Well, we'll have to wait. So if this here closes with a buy signal, then it might be opposite. But right now we currently have a sell signal that's currently active or currently in place. So if we get two red candles right here, then we may have opportunity for a breakout V2. Otherwise, if we get a green candle right here, or a green momentum signal, if we have two following green candles, then we may have an entry for a breakout V2 for a buy. So we'll just take it easy right now. The market is obviously kind of spiking all over the place, so you kind of want to be a little careful with entry. You know, watching where it goes and whatnot. So no buy signal right there. If the buy signal closes, it's going to be an intraday scalp on open. So if you guys are looking to take it, it has to be valid. So if it's invalid, it's not going to fit criteria. It needs to be a valid momentum signal. It needs to match the trend meter down below, which it was green, not the blue. You guys can see there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. So you probably want to just sit tight for a little bit and wait. Liquidity up top did not get hit yet. It's still pending. We're going to mark up opening price right here. So there goes opening price. Yeah. The volatility is actually really high right now. So I was just measuring. Yeah, each candle is pretty heavy. So the volatility is picking up. It's not very stable yet, but it is picking up a bit. Yeah, I mean, we'll continue to watch this and see where it goes. But yeah, there's a lot of volatility that is pushing through on these opening candles. We still have the sell signal here. So if we get two red candles, this would technically be the breakout V2. I'm not looking to take it myself, guys. As you guys know, I'm not going to be taking anything too risky here, too random actually. Actually, let me go to this chart. I'm going to wait for the market to kind of stabilize a bit before I look to take anything here, because obviously you guys can see it's moving around pretty erratic, which is not really the best, market conditions to be trading in. So let's see. So here goes the intraday scalp on open trade. If you guys are looking to take it, this is the entry right here. I'm not taking it myself. ATR for this is 2020. As I mentioned, the market is moving very volatile right now. So it wouldn't have played out. It would have went straight down right after. So hopefully nobody took it. This is definitely a good time to just sit tight and wait. But I'm going to document that in the spreadsheet. I think I'm going to stop looking at the intraday scalp, guys, because it's not really a strategy that I'm too comfortable with. It tends to come up at times where we don't want it to come up. So there goes the entry right there for the intraday scalp. Entry came up at 6:33. I'll just put this up here. It's just for documentation purposes, not necessarily for anything specific. But there goes the entry right there. So I mean, the win rate's still decent, but I don't think I'm going to be looking to take these entries anymore. It's just too much of a messy entry. I think the original intraday scalp on open would probably be better. The volatility right now is super heavy though, so you guys can see would have gotten faked out right here unless you were doing the original entry. I mean, it looks like it probably still would have been playing right now. It still would have been active, but again, I wouldn't really mess with it. So I think that's going to be the case, guys. So I think for the intraday scalp on open, we'll dump this now. This hasn't really, I mean, it's been pretty back and forth. You can see over here, it's a 1-to-1 strategy. So it's currently at a 50% win rate. So you basically be at break even if you took every entry from like September 4th up until October 26th. So if you guys do plan on taking the intraday scalp, I'd probably go with the original, not the 1-to-1 on open. So anyways, I'm going to take this one off for now. And now we're down to We're down to 2 strategies on open, which will be the momentum counter scalp, breakout V2, and then 2 official strategies that we're applying, which would be the high-low scalp V2 and the momentum pullback scalp. So I think that's fair. We don't really need to have like 4 or 5 strategies anyways. We need to have like maybe 2 or 3. So I guess it's going to come down to the breakout V2 or the momentum counter scalp. I think the breakout V2 will probably take its place or it'll take hold because this one has the best win rate. Well, it has the best profit. It has a 55% win rate, about 56, a total profit of 1,250 from August 14th up until August 25th. So I think this will probably be the better bet. The momentum counter scalp is also doing decent, but it's not as great because it's not a one-to-one. So if you guys want to continue applying those strategies, feel free. You guys are more than welcome to. But as of now, it looks like we're going to be probably winding down to the breakout V2, high-low scalp V2, and the momentum pullback scalp. Oh yeah, so the momentum counter scalp just came up right here. I'm not sure if anybody caught it. I just saw William here mentioned it. He said the momentum counter scalp hit. It was actually right here. We had a buy signal, 2 red candles, 1, 2. So I'll keep these strategies up. If you guys want to keep applying them, because I know some of you guys do like applying the strategies, feel free to keep taking them. But there goes the entry right there. This is one of William's favorites, so he still applies it himself. And there goes the momentum counter scalp. Buy signal right here, 2 red candles. Entry would happen on the close of this candle, and it came right through. It also closed right below opening price, so it was actually a good entry point because it broke structure. So right here for the momentum counter scalp, full TP. This came up at about 636. It was for a sell. It was a win. 100. There you go. So I'll keep testing the momentum counter scalp for a while. This strategy is not as hard to test because it comes up around the same time as a breakout V2. Yeah, Rashida said that candle was kind of big for my play. Yeah, no, exactly. It's way too big. I wouldn't have taken it myself. William decided to take it. So nice work right there, William. But I definitely wouldn't have taken it. But yeah, since William said it broke below structure right here, opening price, that's why he decided to take it. And then it went straight through. So nice work right there, William. Yeah, there's people on the opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to these types of entries. William really likes that strategy, so it's all good. He can take it as long as he's confident in taking it. So whenever you guys are taking a strategy, whatever strategy it may be, if you're confident, then go ahead and take it. If you don't feel too confident and you might be a little bit nervous or scared to take the position, then I'd recommend just skipping it and waiting for the next one because there's going to be more entries. Currently looking at current price, you guys can see that price is really just going sideways again. It's the same thing that's been happening all week. You want to be very careful with taking entries during this type of market because there's a lot of fake outs that happen here. So same situation that happened on Monday, same situation that happened on Tuesday, and same situation that happened yesterday, except yesterday price was moving more directional and then it went from range to range. Here, price is just in a huge range, as you guys can see. There's not really too much going on here. There's structure above right there. And then there's structure below right here. So here's our clean chart. You guys can see price is not going anywhere. Price was already ranging right here about 545. And then it just continued to range on market open. So just be careful with your entries, guys. This is actually the breakout V2 right here. So I don't know if anybody was looking to take it. The breakout V2 is currently running right now, actually. Looks like. Happened pretty quickly. There was a buy signal right here, 2 green candles. There goes a breakout V2 running straight to full TP. So I don't know if anybody was able to catch that, but that was the breakout V2 that that just played through right there. Not exactly the best area to trade in because I mentioned over here price is in a range, but the TP hit within the range. So it just pretty much lined up how it was supposed to. So I'll put this data over here for the breakout V2. So again, you guys can see over here from the strategy results that the strategy is actually pretty decent. It's not bad at all. It's the only thing with the breakout V2 that kind of sucks is that it is kind of risky sometimes depending on the market conditions. Like today, there was a lot of news, so it's a little risky. I haven't really been able to figure out when to avoid the trades because you guys can see over here, if every trade was taken without any prejudice and you just took every single trade that came up, you'd be in profit, right? Because all these trades are pretty much documented for every single day. The trade comes up every day. There's no skipping. So every single day, there's a trade that comes up. And you can see over here that if you took it from August 14th up until October 26th, which is basically a 2-month period, over 2 months, you'd have 26 wins, or I mean, it's probably more now. You'd have 30 wins, 23 losses, total trade of 53 trades. Total profit of 1,750 pips and a win-loss ratio of 56.60. So the breakout V2 it's a good strategy, but you have to take every single entry. You can't get scared because there's going to be days where there's like heavy news right here. Like I figured like days to skip would be CPI news, inflation news, but today we had a lot of news this morning. So I'm not sure if that's really the case, right? It wasn't CPI news, but yeah, I guess you could just avoid CPI news. But yeah, for the most part, you guys can see here that the breakout V2 does work very well. So I think we'll continue testing this until like the end of the year. If we really like it, then we'll put this as a staple as one of the official entries. But I think as of now, I'll keep testing it and I'll mark it up for you guys when they do come up. But it's not going to be an official strategy for these live sessions until later on. So, and the momentum counter scalp is good too. But, you know, it just depends on the person because it's a negative risk reward. So a lot of people don't really like that. Anyways, back to our charts over here. So price is still stuck within the range. You can see price cannot get past this resistance up here. It's attempting to, but it hasn't been able to. I think I might have to adjust yeah. So the zones got adjusted a little bit. We'll change that a little later if we need to. But right now, we'll continue looking for any possible opportunities here. We have a high-low scalp V2 that is setting up right here, it looks like. Yeah, so we have a high-low scalp V2 that's currently setting up right here. Liquidity right here just got hit, went straight to TP, guys. Not sure if anybody was able to catch that, but it looks like Daniel identified it. Yeah, Andrew said too nervous for that breakout. Yeah, same here, guys. I don't really like trading when the market's, you know, being highly manipulated. So I personally don't like the breakout very much. I mean, I like it to an extent, but it's not one of my staple strategies where I'm like, oh, I want to always take this entry. Right. So here goes price breaking out of the structure on the clean chart. Price is starting to climb up even higher from where it's currently at. Looks like we're finally getting some sort of direction here. You can see over here on the high-low scalp V2, it's currently setting up for an entry. ATR is currently at 27, so it's very high volatility right now. This candle needs to breaking close past it in order for us to have the confirmation of the breaking close. I personally don't like the candles right now. So I'm hoping it kind of pushes up a little bit and then comes back down a little later, not just an immediate pull back down. Because, so like right here with this immediate pull back down, I think this is a little bit of a risky area to trade in. Because if it pulls back down, it's just going back into the range right here, right? It's just faking out. So that's what I don't want to happen. I don't want it to fake out and then pull right back into the range. Because if that's the case, then we're going to get stuck in this range here and we'll kind of get messed up with the entry. So I actually want price to push up a little bit, you know, climb up a little bit, then come back down, then come back up. I think that's a better situation there because then you'll have a better, you know, understanding if like price is really faking out or if it's actually pulling back into the range. So there goes the setup right there. The setup has not completed yet. We currently have a bullish trend. You have price breaking, closing past the structure. You need to wait for that fake out. Again, I'm not sure if I feel really comfortable with the fake out if it pulls back too quickly, because I just don't want to be stuck in this range right here. Plus, these top wicks right here don't look very nice. I mean, whenever you see a lot of wicks like that and you see like there's a lot of uncertainty in direction of price, it just throws up a bunch of red flags in my head. So I'll let you guys know if I enter this trade. I'm gonna have to think about it for a little bit because it's not really a good setup, in my opinion. There's just a lot of things here that I'm looking at, and I'm like not really sure if it's something that I want to, really hop into. But I will mark it up for you guys if it comes up. So if this candle right here breaks and closes below this blue line, this is going to be the fake out, and you'll be looking for price to swing back up for entry. See, I don't like these candles. Like these candles are they're very wicky. Like they'll come up and they'll wick down super heavy and it'll close, and then they'll just kind of move a little blocky. So if this pushes back up to this blue line, guys, this is going to be entry point for the high-low scalp V2. It has to push up within the first 5 candles. If it doesn't, then there's no opportunity for entry there. Yeah, DeJohn said it would have been a V2, but those candles look nasty, so he skipped it back tomorrow. Yeah, definitely, DeJohn. Probably a better idea to be a little careful today, especially with all the news that's happened and stuff that's going on behind the scenes. So, all right, the entry has not filled yet, guys. This is the first candle. It has about 4 opportunities for it to come back up, fill, and go right through. So we'll continue to watch this here, but you guys can see it's back into the range. This is exactly what I didn't want to happen. I wanted price to push up a little bit, kind of create a new range up here so that I can range around this area, fake out, and then come back to the range, right? That's what I was looking for, but we couldn't get that there. So price is back to where it was earlier. If it continues to climb down, target price point is going to be opening price. As you guys know, that's typically where price gets pulled to. That's going to be something to look out for here. The trade is still not active yet, guys. So just keep that in mind. Price has not swung up yet. This is the second candle, so it still has opportunity for it to go up. But yeah, at the moment, it's still not there. So let's go over here to our main chart. And I'm going to start marking up levels over here. Or the for the momentum pullback scalp entries. Volatility is really high right now. You guys can see there's a ton of levels in this area. Usually they're kind of spread out, but today they're all bunched up in the area. All right, here goes the third candle right here, guys. 1, 2, 3. If the price doesn't swing back up in the next 2 candles, there's no opportunity here for entry, which is fine because I wasn't expecting this to be a good entry anyways to begin with. So we got 2 more candles until this setup gets invalidated, and then we just have to wait for the next one to come up. I mean, if you probably want to go for a partial, so if it does come back up, you can probably go for a partial because I think 10 pips could probably get hit. I don't know about the full 30, but I think 10 pips could probably get hit pretty nicely or pretty easily. It'll probably spike up a little bit and then kind of have some weird movement here. So it'll probably come up a little bit and come back down, something like that. Gosh, yeah, Kevin got into this high-low momentum scalp over here, but then he got out because he didn't like how it was moving. Probably a good decision, Kevin. Yeah, because he came up right here. I think the candle was also really big too. Let me measure the candle real quick. The candle was actually just enough. It was just okay of a size. Usually 30 is like a cutoff. So there's a higher high right here, the sell signal broken close below, and then it pushed down into profit right here. I'm not sure if it hit TP, but let's see. It actually did, so it blasted right through the TP, but nice work, Kevin, on getting out. Better to be safe than sorry today, of course. So yeah, Kevin got into the high-low scalp, high-low momentum scalp right here. This is a different strategy. So we're looking at the high-low scalp V2, but Kevin was taking the high-low momentum scalp. This strategy is actually good during a ranging market, which we're currently in. So it was probably a good decision that he took it. So we had a higher high right there, sell signal broken close below pivots 1 and 2, and then he took it for partial move. So it's all good. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the 5th candle right here, guys. So if this doesn't come up and touch the blue line, there's not going to be any entry here for this high-low scalp V2. We're just going to go ahead and have to cancel this. Okay, so no entry there. Got to go ahead and cancel that there. And no opportunity. Yeah, Oscar said the second he exited early, it hit TP. Movement is just too unstable. Yeah, I agree too, Oscar. There's not really much of a direction here. So I mean, it looks like price was attempting to be bullish today, but realistically, it's not because it's just back into this range. So this right here was just a fake out. You guys can see how price faked out up here, and it pulled right back into the range. Price has been ranging within here for like the past hour. So for an hour now, price has just been going back and forth within this area. It's not a good area to trade in. I mean, unless you're taking the high-low momentum scalps, because that strategy is actually meant for these ranging markets. Andrew also mentioned that sentiment has not budged either. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are just trapped in their position right now. So it seems like a lot of people are either holding on to buys and sells, and their stop losses are sitting outside of the zones, right? So we have a zone up here, zone down here. Their stop losses are probably sitting out here. So price really needs to push out there before the sentiment changes. So it looks like whoever's holding on to it is kind of just holding on to it tight right now, hoping that price goes in their direction. Because price can really go in either direction here. When price is ranging like this, it's going to break out eventually. You know, it's going to break out to the top, or it's going to break out to the bottom. There's a lot of different opportunities here. Just got to be smart about it. Smart about it, aka not be trading right now, because you want to wait for it to establish. Once it establishes that it's bullish, then okay, great. We'll look for some buys here, right? We're fine taking entries here. Or once price establishes that it's bearish, then all right, great. We'll look for some entries down here. But I wouldn't be trading in this middle area because it's going to break out in either direction. Sentiment right now is bullish. So, I mean, there could be a lot of different things that can happen here. Like price can, well, we also have news. So that's one thing too, to keep in mind. We have pending home sales, which is medium impact. So this right here, they're forecasting it to be better because this is in conjunction with what was released earlier this week. If you guys remember, we had home sales that were also pending as well the other day, and they were super positive. So, I mean, we'll see. Gion said inconsistency of MC4 in trading view. Yeah, that's been happening a lot lately. I'm looking at it right now though, but it looks fine at the moment. Well, kind of like this right here is a doji, but it's red on trading view. This right here is a green candle, but it's a doji on trading view. So there's like a little bit of some inconsistency today. I mean, earlier this week, there was a lot of inconsistency. Thankfully for today, it's not as bad. The candles are still a little different size though. So yeah, you want to be careful with that too. Gion kind of got messed with the inconsistency between the candle sizes. What I would probably recommend is to just look at trading view, right? Because trading view is probably going to be the most accurate because eventually FTMO is, or whatever MC4 broker you're using, is going to catch up to the data. But this data right here, I would see this as the actual data, because obviously we're pulling this data from the Chicago Board of Trade. This is like literally from the exchange, and there's no manipulation that can happen within this data right here. MT4 could be easily manipulated. So let's keep that in mind. Anyways, we have another fake out right here. Again, no opportunity for entry. Okay, so I don't like this right here. You guys can see how we have these two levels. I don't like this here because this is basically establishing that price is ranging, right? I don't like when the levels kind of overlap each other like this. So again, we just got to sit tight. Also, for the momentum pullback scalp over here, there's no entry available here either, because you need price to push past the momentum. So we actually need price to push up a bit farther from where it's currently at. All right. So we got news right here in about 3 minutes. Yeah, Jonathan said no YOLO trades today. Yeah, probably not the best idea to take anything risky, because there just isn't any direction, guys. So what I would recommend is just wait for price to break out of the structure. We'll break out and also continue. So you can see over here how we have two fake outs. There's two fake outs outside of the range right here, and it just pulls right back into the range. I would recommend just waiting for it to break out and actually continue climbing. Once you get that, then great, start looking for some buys. But right now, I mean, we obviously don't have that. You know, you can see over here from the pivots aren't even directional anymore. They're starting to cross over, they're starting to go sideways. Not exactly the best area to be trading. There's no momentum pullback scalps. There's no high-low scalp V2s. There's no nothing right now. So I'll just keep it right here. Yeah, exactly. Andrew said they're stopping people out on both sides in this range. Yeah, the range here is pretty big, guys. It's not a small range. So if you measure the range right here, the range is about 800 pips. So like if anyone tries to chase the move whenever it breaks out, like for example, I could see people who try to chase this right here, right? They see price break structure. And then what happens here? It's a break and retest, right? Price break structure, it retests right there. What happens, what people typically do, they'll take a long position right here. They'll put their stop loss below structure right there, and they'll try to ride it out, right? Stopped out, right? That's like one right there. Another time right here when price came back up, same situation. What happens here? People are like, oh, I lost the first time. Okay, I'm here going for my second try. Break and retest of the structure right here. They do the same thing, stopped out, right? So don't take any trades right here, guys. It's not a good area to trade in. I know a lot of people are trying to take this break and close past structure. I know a lot of people like applying that strategy, break and retest. It's a good strategy when it works, but when it doesn't, you're going to get burnt. Like, you know, think about taking two losses right here. And typically people risk about like 2.5% to 5%. That's a big loss right there already. If you were to take these two trades, you'd be out of the game for the day. Again, right here, price is coming back down. This is a news candle. So we have the news candle right here. Another level right there. Color that black. All right, we got this huge news candle right here coming down. News is actually positive. So you can see over here, penny home sales month over month was positive. And year over year was also positive. So this big dump right here is all manipulation. Obviously, a lot of people thought it was going to be positive, like I mentioned, because the news that was released earlier this week was also positive. So it was positive earlier this week. Of course, it was going to be positive today. And a lot of people are just getting manipulated right here. So whoever tried to chase that up pretty much just got wiped out when price kind of dumped down here, because this dumped down pretty far. It's not a small drop. This thing dumped down 700 pips. So there goes a clear example of manipulation right there, guys. So a lot of people try to argue with me about there not being manipulation in the market. What's this then? All right, what's this? The news there was positive. Price did the complete opposite. That's straight manipulation right there. So everybody knew it was going to be positive because the news came out. Let's see. I'm not sure what day the news came out for pending home sales. I think it was yesterday. If not yesterday, it was the day before. But it was the same thing. We were expecting it to be negative, and it was actually super positive. Let's take a look at sentiment. Sentiment still hasn't changed, guys. So they're pretty, I'm pretty sure whoever's holding these positions, they have some pretty like long, like they're wide positions. They're swing trading it right now, probably. They're swing trading it or they're intraday trading it. They have a really, really far stop loss. So let's go back to the clean chart. I would not chase this right here, guys. This is probably going to pull right back up to, what do you think? The range. So I think this is going to retrace all the way back up and fill this candle right back up to the range. I don't think it's ready to drop yet. I mean, it could, but we'll see. This is an area of manipulation here, because the thing with this is that since the news was positive, I think it's going to have to correct back up at least a little bit. I don't think it's going to keep dumping super far. It might continue dropping to stop people out even further, but for the most part, this still has to correct back to where it was earlier. So I think it'll probably correct back to either at least half the candle, if not the entire candle. All right, different opportunities right there. Yeah, Randy said it looks like it's trying to tap the 530 news price. Yeah, that could be target price point right there too. So it looks like it's correcting back down to the news from earlier. So the news happened right here at 530. Price made a huge climb, and it looks like it's correcting right back down to the news price from 530. That could be the case. So there's two different target price points here. Price can either come down to the news price or you can come back to opening price. Right? Two different target price points. So yeah, this is again not a good area. I think price will probably just range within this area, but target price points will be one of these two areas here. If price goes up, it's going to go back to open. If price goes down, it's going to go down to news price right here. Looking over here at liquidity, it's got a long way to go, but liquidity is down here as well. So it climbs down further. Target price point on this chart is going to be liquidity, of course. So it looks like price is going back to open. I think that's what will happen first. I think price will go back to open first because this here was a manipulated candle, of course, right? So price typically would have to go back to where it started. So we'll see. Again, I'm not really looking to take anything here, guys. It's too risky for me. I don't want to be caught in any of this crossfire. Price keeps going back and forth. Once it stabilizes, I'll be a lot more comfortable, but right now I definitely do not feel comfortable with any entries yet. So if we get a correction back down, we're going to shift into a bearish trend, which was kind of what I was waiting for today. And then from there, I'll start looking for some possible entries. All right, so if this is the case right here, then we may start getting some sells because the trend is now shifted to a bearish trend. And if it continues down lower, we'll have opportunities for a sell here. So we currently have a bearish trend. You guys can see from the pivots here that the trend has shifted. You can see the red pivots above all the other pivots. Level is going to be down here. So the reason why I was a little more inclined for price to come down lower was because of retail sentiment. Retail sentiment is so strong for a sell that obviously I want to look for some sells here. I don't really want to look for some buys long term. Of course, market's going to kind of fake out and move around early on in the session, and then later on it's going to establish that we now have a direction to look for. So I'll start looking for a momentum pullback scalp here if possible. I wouldn't take this though. So I'm going to look for price kind of drop down a little bit. So I need another red candle to kind of come down slightly, retrace up, and then continue down. That's what I'll be looking for a momentum pullback scalp over here. So we got that. And we also have the high-low scalp V2 here that's also setting up. All right, so looking at this right here, if we get a green candle that comes up, it's going to be a setup for a momentum pullback scalp. Right? So if this candle right here closes below this black line, entry is going to be here at the 33.60 mark. And then over here, if the candle closes below this black line, it's going to be at the 33.70 mark. I wouldn't go any higher than that. It's around 33.70 mark right there. If you guys are looking to take that for a momentum pullback scalp. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to close below it. So the momentum pullback scalp is actually right there. It looks like it might be running right now. If you guys are looking to take it. See if I get into this. Right, so it's currently right here. I wasn't able to get into it yet because I was waiting for it to pull back. I mean, it's pulled back now. I'm trying to put a pending order here, but it's kind of stuck around that area. Every time I'm putting in my order here, it keeps giving me an error. It's too close. I might have to enter it manually. Let's see if I could. That's what I hate about putting these pending orders, and price just kind of sits where it's currently at. Let's see. And this thing's not pushing away from it. It's giving me these errors. Volatility is really low right now. Huh? It's at 25, 26, 27. And this thing still hasn't filled me. I'm just going to cancel it. I don't know if anybody's trying to get into it, but it's still kind of bouncing around from where it's currently at right now. Vince is running. Looks like CSUC over here took it for a partial. I was trying to take it for a partial as it came down, but I set my pending order there and it just wouldn't fill for some reason. It just kept like bouncing around that area, and it didn't fill for me, so I just ended up canceling it. Yeah, some huge spikes right now, guys. Like the price moving right now, or price is currently going, it's not really it's not a good area to really be trading in. Let's see if I can find something over here. A lot of these unusual price movements are based off the news from earlier. So you guys can see the news from earlier was still kind of it still hasn't corrected back up. Let me see if there's any other entries over here for the high-low scalp V2 hasn't come up yet either. I don't know. I just don't like the way the market's moving today. It's kind of been moving like this like all week for the most part. I wasn't able to get in that first entry, which is fine because I couldn't even get into it. But I was going to pull out early anyways because like CSUC said he pulled out early for a partial because of how the candles are moving. This market today is just not a good market. It's not a good market, just like how it's been all week. So I think it's best to probably sit tight and just wait for, and again, right here, see how this level is kind of established at the same price point? It's in another range. Yeah, exactly what Maria said. She said it was ranging. Kevin said it was ranging. Randy pulled out early. Yeah, it's just a ranging week this week. This entire week has been pretty much in a huge range, which is not good because there's no direction. If there's no direction, then it's going to be tough for us to take anything really, because everything here is a directional strategy, except for the momentum, or sorry, the high level momentum scalp. Yeah, we really just need price to break out of the range. There's another range here down below. And there's another zone up here as well. Let's see. Yeah, Andrew said didn't take it because of what you said about correcting after that manipulation. Yeah, same here, because this candle here is still manipulated. So you guys remember this big red candle right here? This is from the 7 o'clock news. Price still hasn't confirmed the correction yet, right? The correction is either going to happen, it's going to happen halfway like it did right here, or it's going to continue climbing to the open price right there. It just hasn't had that correction yet, so I was kind of waiting for this to play through. What I was more interested in taking would be the high-low scalp V2 right here, but it never even came down below this area. It came down and touched it, but it didn't actually break below here, so there was just no opportunity for entry at that point. Yeah, there just isn't anything for us to take here right now. I mean, it's not really a good time to trade. Anything right now specifically. Let's see if there's something else here. Yeah, if this thing doesn't start moving, I mean, we haven't even really taken many trades this week. If this doesn't start moving any smoothly, then I'm probably not going to trade again today, guys. Let me check my stats for the week so far. So for the week, I took one loss here on Monday, took one win over here on Tuesday. I didn't get into that last trade, of course. I tried to, but it didn't let me. It's probably a good thing I didn't get filled. But there hasn't really been much for this week. I mean, the entire month of October has been good, but it's just this week's been kind of choppy because of a lot of the news events that are going on. Today was a heavy news day. We had about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, about 15 news events that came out right here pre-market. Fed was speaking at 6 o'clock. Powell speaking yesterday as well. And then we have some more inflation news tomorrow. So I mean, today and tomorrow are like the heavy news days. There's just not really much going on here. And yeah, I just gotta keep moving with it. So if this here sets up, guys, I'm probably not going to take this trade because you guys can see the range here. I don't like when levels are on the same, like within the same area. I like when levels are kind of spread out because we typically take these entries when price is going directional, right? Which right now it's obviously not directional, it's just going sideways. Here's a clean chart. You guys can see this is a clear indication of the range right here. It's just going from range to range. So we went in this big range right here, kind of faked out into a small range up here. Then it pulled down to this area. And it's just doing the same thing. It's another range. It's just not a good area to trade in. There's not really much here to work with. This week kind of sucks. I was hoping this week would be good because we had such a good month. We had a great month for October, and I was hoping this week would just kind of be able to wrap it up. because next week is the last week of October. So I was hoping I'd be able to have a 100% win rate for the entire month of October. Fortunately, I got into that loss on Monday. It was a good trade. Like the setup was there. It just didn't play out. But yeah, I was hoping I'd be able to bounce back from that and then close out the month strong. But looking at it here, it's not a good market to trade in. Plus, the ranges are pretty far out. So again, there's another range right here. And if you're to measure that range, the range is currently, we'll go from this high point. It's about 600 pips. So it's not a small range. Again, right here, price is just creating another range. Yep. All right, so again, we're back to this waiting game here. But even if we do get an entry here, guys, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to take the trade. I'm pretty positive because I don't want to get, it's the same pattern that just keeps repeating itself. One thing that you guys want to keep in mind is like typically whatever happens on Monday and Tuesday, that usually continues throughout the week. So if we get a bunch of ranges on Monday, Tuesday, which we did this week, the ranges continued yesterday. It was just a bigger range. And today the ranges continue, but it's just a wider range as well. So just something to keep in mind, moving forward. I've kind of mentioned this in the past, but usually Mondays and Tuesdays are like the best days to really get a grasp on the market. And it kind of gives you an idea of when to, not trade really. And I'm pretty glad that the range here is pretty obvious, because if it wasn't this obvious, I think if we didn't have the high low indicator, we probably wouldn't have spotted it as early as we did, because we started to see the range build right here, right? And that was because we had the high low indicator. So basically, whenever you have the high lows that are really close to each other, so see how all these high lows are right next to each other. We have one right here, one right here, one right here. And then you go to the highs and you see they're all right next to each other as well, right? Right here, right here, and right here. This indicates that price is in a clear range. So whenever you see something like this, it's usually a time to just wait for price to break out of the range. Or if you want to take the high low momentum scalp, you can take that as well. But even right now, we don't have that. So, all right, I just gotta wait. Not really much for us to take here. So we had a couple of profits over here from you guys. So it looks like Andrew over here took liquidity up top. So he locked in a total profit of 735 across each account. That's about about 3,000 for the day. Nice work right there, Andrew. We've got Deswell, total profit of 1,531 on this account, all wins there. And it looks like Deswell took the breakout earlier this morning for that buy. Then another account over here, total profit of, this is his demo account, he's just playing with it. And then lastly, we have Kenny over here with a total profit of 1,960. Nice work, Kenny. So, I mean, decent profit so far from you guys. Obviously, I haven't taken anything yet, so there's just nothing for me to show. And it's gonna be, I don't think I've ever been, well, not in a long time. I haven't gone 2 days without taking trades. I haven't taken anything yesterday. Today I wanted to get something, but I couldn't. There's just nothing for us to take here. I mean, even with, there won't be any more momentum pullback scalps until we have another momentum signal. So, yeah, and this was kind of my bad right here, guys. I should have seen that this was in a range, so I probably shouldn't even have marked it up for you guys. So sorry to you guys who like hit your stop loss. I should have seen it right here because the entry came up right here, right? So when the entry came up right here, I should have seen that price was already in a range. So this should have been something that I spotted. That price was already ranging within this area, and I should have never marked it up. I thought it was going to be a nice drop because it looked like price was going to continue going lower from where it was, but then it ended up faking out and it just kept going sideways. Yeah, exactly. Randy said he saw that too and he thought it would at least drop 10 points, but it didn't. It just kept going sideways from where it was currently at. So yeah, that's my bad, guys. I'll take well, obviously I got to take the blame for that because that was something that I should have noticed. This is kind of why I don't like having all these lines on the chart because it's hard for me to see the range. It's easier to see on something like this because, yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious where you have the zone right there. So it's all good. Kevin said, not your bad. I FOMO'd into that trade. Didn't have a trade yesterday and didn't want to miss this one. Yeah, it happens. I mean, I was going to get FOMO on that too. I was trying really hard to get into the position, but then when price swung above the entry point, it never came back down to fill me. It just kept bouncing around that area and giving me an error because price was too close to entry point. So it's all good. It's all good. I think this week's going to just continue to be like this. I think tomorrow will probably be a bit of a range too. We have some news pre-market, but for the most part, it's like we might get a push on open because we do have a lot of pre-market news right here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 news events, all like for the majority high impact. Yeah, I mean, this will probably, it'll probably cause price to move initially and then it'll probably correct back on open. So we'll just go back into a range like it did today. We have news coming up right here at 7:30, guys, in about 8 minutes. Yeah, hopefully this pushes it out of the range, but for the most part, you guys can see from this area here, it's definitely not an area to trade in. Like earlier, I was warning that this wasn't an area to trade in. And then it just did the same thing. It came down here, and now this is not an area to trade in. So typical market for this week. Yeah, there just isn't anything for us to take here. All right, guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, if you want me to review anything, just let me know. There's just nothing for us to look at here. So I'm open to answering any questions. We typically don't answer questions during these live sessions, but if there's questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat and I can help you guys out with whatever you need help with. Yeah, there just isn't anything here for us to take. It's kind of weird for a fall market for a price to be kind of consolidating like this, like super heavy. I could see consolidation and range happen like for a short period, and then it just breaks out of it and it continues moving. Right here, it's kind of just been like this all week. If you guys have been trading with me since Monday. Yeah, exactly. Patricia said this market sucks, better pre-market. Yeah, because of the news this morning. So the news this morning was actually a good, it was a good push of volatility, it pushed price in that direction. You guys can see over here, so the news happened right here at 5:30. And then pre-market, price made its climb. And then it went to a range right here once you got closer to market open at 6. So we did have some direction right there off the news. But you can see over here, I pretty much cut it out 6:30 up until 8. It's pretty much just going sideways for the most part. Shannon said I had to stop a couple of days just to listen and prove I can follow directions consistently. Yeah, I mean, it's hard. It's hard during a market like this because this type of market, a lot of people get FOMO or they want a revenge trade. Like they just want to hop into something because they're just getting very impatient. And for me, like until price really breaks out of this area, like, comes down and actually comes down and doesn't go back into a range, then I'll be more comfortable taking a position. But realistically, you guys can see right here, it's not doing anything. It's just going sideways. So it doesn't really matter if you take a buy or a sell. If you take a buy, you'll still be trapped in the position. If you take a sell, you'll still be trapped in the position, but then you'll be in drawdown, right? You're not really sure if like where price is going to go. So unless your TP stop loss is like really tight, you're either going to get like stuck in your position for a long time before it either hits your TP or stop loss, or you're just going to be trapped in this never-ending back and forth cycle right here, which is the worst feeling. I think that's the worst feeling when you're in a position and you have no idea where price is going to go, because you have the option to either pull out early for a small profit or a small loss, or you have the option to hold on to it and either take a big loss or a decent win, right? So I just don't like the uncertainty of taking a trade like that, because there's just no reason to hold on to something like that. It's just going to stress you out and you're going to second guess your trade. So yeah, Andrew said once it breaks lower structure, might want to stop hunt. Yeah, or even the opposite, Andrew. It finally filled right here. So see how it filled right here? Now it might want to stop hunt in the other direction. Yeah, exactly. Shannon said, yes, another level of fourth quarter starting. Guilty of it. Yeah, I think everybody is. Everybody's guilty of FOMO trading and revenge trading and kind of forcing a trade in because you're just like, you want to get that you want to get that one trade in. Like even myself, I'm starting to get a little bit of FOMO because I want to get into something, but I already know that I got burnt on Monday, so I don't want to get burnt again, of course. Sisu said today would have been a brutal whipsaw to get stuck in. Yeah, so look at this again, guys. So if you would have been in a position right here, I mean, just imagine how stressed out you'd be holding on to something like this, right? Like say you got in like right here in the middle, and it just keeps going back and forth, back and forth. And then now if you didn't pull out at any time down here, you need some massive drawdown. And then now it's coming back down where you're starting to try to get it, you're going to try to get out at break even, and it might come down slightly and it might come right back up. So it's not really a good area to trade in because it's just whipsawing back and forth. You guys can see the wicks over here. Not really much of a direction. If you look over here at the fundamentals are still flat. They're down 30 points. So there really isn't much of direction to follow, direction to trade in at the moment. So it's like price is pulling right back into the range over here. Or not. there's no there's just no certainty as to like where price is going. I mean, it looks like price is now ranging within this small area here. But yeah, lots of traps, lots of uncertainty. There we go. As price fakes out again. I mean, there's fake outs on both sides. You guys can see the wicks on both sides. It just fakes out. So it fakes out up top, fakes out down below. So again, right here, it's still in a range. And here we go as price comes back down. Yeah, I would hate to be in this type of market. I would hate to be in a position right now where price just keeps going, obviously back and forth. There we go, as price comes back down from where it's currently at. Let's see if it actually stays down there. Okay. So not really much here. Still, all right. So yeah, if you guys are, I'm like literally looking at each candle right here, and it just keeps faking out both directions. So fake out from the top right here, comes back down, fakes out from the bottom, comes back up, fakes out from the top, comes back down, fakes out from the bottom. And you guys can see how it just keeps going back and forth between this area. So guys, if there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. It's 7:30 right now, but I'm not really expecting much to happen from now until 8. I'm gonna close my MC4 actually, because I really don't want to FOMO into anything right now. I already could feel the FOMO coming because I'm just waiting for this to like to pick a direction so I can kind of take a quick scalp for even 100 pips. But I already know it's probably the worst decision to take right now because there's really no direction. I mean, if it was breaking out of the range and at least maybe climbing out even a little bit, that'd be cool. But you can see that it just keeps it gets like really close to like going up. So look at this, how price breaks outside of the structure, right? So whenever price breaks out of the structure right here, what do people typically take? They trade in that direction, right? They wait for price to break out and they're like, okay, I'm gonna take this for whatever. And they get stopped out, like, damn, I got stopped out. And then they see price come down here and they try to do the same thing. And if your stop loss is too tight, you know, they either hit their TP or get stopped out. Most of the time they get stopped out because they're too scared to really have a wide stop loss. And then they just end up getting stopped out when price swings back up slightly. So Daniel said news did nothing. Time for the gym. Have a good day, everyone. Yeah, definitely, Daniel. We'll see you back here tomorrow. Let me check the news. I forgot there was news at 7:30. The news was negative right here for gas stock change. Yeah, news don't really do too much. I mean, it looks like price is starting to have some sort of direction here, but realistically, it's just back into this range. So it looks like price is dumping, which it is dumping a little bit, but it's really just back in this the bigger range right here. So, all right, guys, I'll hang out for like maybe another 10 minutes or so. If nothing happens here, then there's probably no reason for us to just hang around and kind of maybe force a trade here. There's no need to force a trade on a day like this, especially when the range is as clear as day. Like, it'd be impossible for someone not to see this range here. This range is so obvious. Like, if you look at over here, like, this is horrible. See how all the highs right here are all lined up? It's definitely not a good area. And same with here with all the lows that are all lined up right here too. Yeah, and as you said, momentum signals are coming in too often. Yeah, definitely. Johnny over here identified a high-low momentum scalp. So let me see if there's one here. Yes, there was one right here that Johnny identified. There's a higher high. There's a sell signal here. Actually, there was no high-low momentum scalp right here, Johnny, because this red candle broke and closed below it already. So the one following it already broke and closed below it. So this one right here wouldn't have counted. I mean, if you took it, nice profit, but yeah, it didn't really meet criteria there, unfortunately. Let me see if there's any other. So there was technically a high-low scalp V2 that came up right here, guys. It's not one that I would ever recommend anybody take, but it did come up right here. I don't know if anybody even looked at it. I wasn't bothered looking at these levels because it came up so often, but there was a level right here. So as you guys can see, price broke slightly below it. It came back up right here and then it came back down. Actually, it wouldn't have filled because there's too many candles here. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Too many candles have passed. So this right here would not have been a high-low moment, high-low scalp V2. It's just a regular high-low most part. I mean, there's another opportunity right here, but again, I don't really feel comfortable taking it because obvious reasons here. It's still in a range. It broke out of the range, but it looks like it's pulling back into it. So let's go back to our clean chart. So it broke past the range for a fake out, and it looks like it's pulling, you know, back into the range here. So not really a good area to take anything so far. It's actually multiple levels right here. Nice. CC ticket for a partial. So I'm glad to see some of you guys are still profiting here. I mean, a lot of us have not been taking anything, including myself. But it looks like CC over here caught something. There's a whole lot of levels here again. So again, this is not an area where I would like to trade anything really. You can see how price is pushing back up. It's going right back into that range. Yeah. So price faked out right here, faked out up here, faked out down here. And then now it's pulling back into the range right there. All right, guys. So if there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to put them in the chat. It's currently 7:37 right now. We've been sitting on here for a while. Price hasn't really broken out of this range, so I don't really expect anything to happen from now until 8 o'clock. I think price will probably just keep faking out. So you can see, for example, here, price keeps faking out, but it's either going to create another range or it's going to fake out and go right back into this range right here. And it'll just keep faking out like it did up here, right? Faked out twice, came back in, faked out another time, came back in, came down here, pulled back into the range, fake out again right here. I could see maybe setting up and then going back into the range again. So it's just not a good area to trade in, guys. I wouldn't take any high-low V2, high-low scalp V2s over here, even though they are setting up, because they're just not good entries to take because price could easily just fake out and go right back up. So technically there is a high-low scalp V2 that is currently running right here. It's not one I would personally take or recommend anyone take because it can easily just swing right back up into the range, right? But there is one that's currently running right here. So we had price breaking close below this lower structure. Price came back up, came back below. The entry would happen right there at that level. And it's currently running in profit, but it's not one I would take or one that I'd recommend you guys take. There's just too many fake outs today. So if you guys are in this position, I'd recommend moving your stop loss in profit or just pull out for profit right now. It's already halfway to TP. So I would just take the profit and run. It's typically what I would personally do here. If you guys are looking to make a quick profit. Let's see, I'm trying to see if there's anything else here. So I think these two are done with. Yeah, this is the only high-low scalp V2 that's currently running through, but I still wouldn't recommend people take it. Maddie said there was a high-low, there was a momentum pullback scalp at 735. So there was one right here. Price pulled below, pulled back up. Entry would have happened right there. Yeah, I see it, Maddie. So yeah, this right here would have been a momentum pullback or a momentum pullback scalp would have went straight to TP, but he didn't take it. I wouldn't recommend taking it either. Still, I wouldn't recommend taking any of the entries here because you guys can see price is just pulling back into the range, like I said, right? Yeah, don't risk it, guys. There's no need for you guys to risk these trades here, especially when there's just no direction. I mean, if price was going in any direction, really, if it was going up or down, it'd be fine. But you can see right here that price just faked out twice, like it did here. Two fake outs right there, two fake outs right there, and it pulls right back into the range. So, all right, guys, it's 7:40 right now. I'm not really expecting anything to happen from now until 8 o'clock. So I don't see any other questions here either. I think it's about time we should just wrap this up, guys. I think at this point, there's just no reason to be on the charts. If you want to be on the charts, feel free, but I'd recommend to not be on the charts because this is like a good area for them to trap a lot of people who have FOMO. Because you can see that it's the same pattern that just repeated itself. Price was ranging right here, pushed up, it faked out from here, and it pulled back in. Did the same thing right here. It faked out twice, and then it pulled right back into the range. So, I mean, unless price really makes a big dump or a big climb, I don't think much is going to happen here. I think this range is going to be, it's going to be pretty strong for like the next couple hours. Let me see if there's anything else going on today in the news. It's all low impact news, so we don't really have much going on from like now until market close. So I'm not really seeing too much happening. You know, price might break out of this range. So what you might see here is you might see price break out of the range and then come back in. Or you might see price break out of the range in the other direction. And then it'll just pull back in as well, right? Price might break out down here and then go right back into the range. So, all right, guys, if you guys don't have to trade, which is, I'm pretty sure it's everybody. I don't think anybody here has to trade, because if you guys are doing a challenge or anything like that, it's obviously, you know, you have a time limit that doesn't expire. So, all right, guys, other than that, if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out. And if not, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. Hopefully tomorrow's going to be decent, so we can just wrap this week up a lot smoother than it's been running. And we can just go on for the rest of the week and close out this month on a strong note. So, all right, guys, other than that, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow. If you guys have